Hey, y'all. Hey, welcome to the PowerWomen podcast. This is the show where powerful women share their journeys, discuss how to solve powerful issues, and empower men who help us rise. I'm your host, Power Mom, Claire Brown. You know, and there are so many people I've heard over the years, not just in regards to what you all have been through, but they say, you know, if anything ever happened to my child, Katie barred the door, you know, just like you said about your daughter a while ago. If anything ever happened to her, I'd kill him.
Yeah.
And so
I don't look good in orange, but Sharlene, please come and visit me.
Right. And so, but then in that light, you know, I mean, I think there's something said about that of like, you know, did you not feel that from your families or any other persons in your lives that, you know, to know that something was being done to you and they would come and do whatever it took to protect you?
I feel that now, I mean, obviously, you know, at the time I didn't because I wasn't communicating with him about what happened. It was a secret. But now, yes, I feel like absolutely my dad would have got on the first plane to New York City, probably went to his house and also done the other legal things that he needed to do.
Sure.
But I didn't have that confidence then. I had so much shame.
Yeah. And then that brings me to what conversation are we having with our children of, I need you to know that if anybody, if anything happens, I will go to the ends of the earth for you.
And we have those conversations. I didn't have those conversations with my mom and dad.
Right.
We didn't talk about sex. We didn't, I mean, you know, we didn't have those conversations.
Right. And how often are we talking to our children about sex to normalize it so that when something like that is presented to them, it's not foreign and they don't feel that shame.
Yeah. And no means no.
Right.
Yeah. And you know, even if a woman freezes like I did, that's not consent.
No.
Freezing is not consent. You can tell if a woman wants to be intimate with you. And I never wanted to be intimate with him. I never wanted to have sex with him. I didn't want for the things to happen.
Right.
And he knew that.
Right.
But he took advantage of it using his power, his resources, and holding the camera videos over me.
And so, you know, how, I can't imagine the mental health that has occurred and with all of this for both of you. And what has that looked like?
For me, I'm still going through a lot of mental health help, to be honest, because I've been so traumatized. I'm still grappling everything every day. It's a really hard process, and when I go back to like saying it's a lifelong sentence, I really believe it. One of the things that has really helped me, however, overcome this, like I said, are my survivor sisters and the way that we band together. It's so special. Like it's unbelievable. We have each other's backs no matter what. It doesn't matter what happens. I'm always going to be there for Lara. It just doesn't matter. And so to be able to have that feeling of community, it's so important. And to be able to bounce things off of each other, like whenever, it's also so important. And advocacy and speaking out has also helped my mental health in a way that, you know, speaking to others just helps you realize that other people have gone through the same thing that you have. And with the Survivor Sisters, there's something we have that's just like unexplainable. Like, I don't need to tell Laura what happened to me. She already knows what happened to me. You know, I don't need to tell anybody else. Like, we already know. And so it's just kind of an acceptance and an understanding between us that is so nice. And another thing that just going back to what Lara was saying with like the children, I think one of the important things that we should be doing to move forward is to like create legal definitions so that this consent there is no discrepancy as to what consent is. And I just feel like that is such an important piece of this because it's almost like exploitation can be considered consent. However, it's not. It's exploitation. And we need to change that and create these legal definitions of what each thing is, and so that there are no more loopholes that our children can fall into.
Yeah. Yeah. And we need to get rid of, for the life of me, I don't understand why we have statute of limitations on rape. And so I don't know what it is in Arkansas. It may be 3 years. Do you know?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
3 years.
Okay. So people don't come forward in 3 years. They may not come forward to 20 years,
Right.
but it only protects the perpetrator.
Right.
Because, you reported it 10 years from now, but I raped you, 10 years ago.
Right.
That, and then they slide free.
Right.
So it's really frustrating. So, we are working on federal legislation to remove the statute of limitations.
Yeah. And y'all have been going from state to state to make this happen.
Well, federal and state to say, just went to Albany, and then we have a federal bill that we're trying to pass, Virginia's law.
Oh, I love that.
Yes, Virginia's law,
Yes.
Virginia Giuffre.
And I want to focus on Virginia. Tell us about Virginia.
Well, Virginia was a trailblazer. She's one of the first survivors that came forward and spoke about her abuse. And along with Maria Farmer, and Courtney Wild, and all of these girls, they came forward and they told their stories. And it's so important that they did that. And they just basically set a path. They turned on a light in the dark and helped expose all of this darkness. And we've come so far because of all of the girls that have come before us. They're heroes. They're actual heroes.
Yeah. Virginia was so courageous. She was the most prominent Epstein, survivor. But I love her. She spoke, and she spoke names. She took down a prince. And we literally are speaking because of her. She gave us the courage, but she was one of the first. And Maria Farmer. Maria Farmer went to the FBI in 1996. Yes. And reported Epstein, and nothing was done.
Right.
And, we look back at that. So in 96, I was 18 years old. And if they had started investigations and actually, took her seriously, we might not be sitting here today.
Right.
And so many of my other survivor sisters might not have the trauma that we went through. Speaking on the mental health. So the mental health part is very important as far as getting the right therapist.
Right.
And all therapists are not created equal. So you need to find one that suits you. It's a relationship. And I have a wonderful, wonderful therapist. Sometimes I talk to her on the phone. Sometimes she comes to my house. Sometimes we meet for coffee. But the work is being done.
Right.
And I needed that. She's non-judgmental, and we're really working through things.
Good.
And I hope anybody that's experienced any kind of abuse, they need that.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you're not going to be okay all the time.
No.
And you need somebody to talk to and work through those demons.
Absolutely. And what has this done for your physical health? Because the body keeps score when you experience trauma. And so what has that looked like for all of you?
Sharlene?
For me, I've gained weight. It's like so hard to lose it. And I realize I'm getting older, but the body does keep the score. I do have also complex PTSD, where sometimes I see things and I'll fall apart. There's so many things that have happened that it's just like you don't realize until you're actually going through it. And I do believe the body keeps the score. That's 100% accurate statement. I think that's a book too, maybe. I'm not sure. Yeah. But there are things that, there's horse therapy, there's yoga therapy, there's different kinds of retreats. There's all kinds of different things that if a therapist isn't quite gelling with you at the moment, if you haven't found that right one, there are other things you can do. Even just going out in nature helps as well. That actually really helps me a lot. I love gardening. So Laura is right. But if you can't find that one, that is something that there are other things you can do in the meantime.
You've got to touch the grass. Mm-hmm.
Grounding technique.
Yes, grounding. So I've always been really flexible, and when I went public in November even before then, when I started talking about it and telling my family and everybody, I started having like really bad like arthritis flare-ups, and I feel like it's from the trauma. And from the trauma. And I know I'm getting older, but I'm just like, I'll have the flare-ups when I'm stressed about this.
Right.
And so I manage that with hot baths, with gardening, with massages, whatever brings me peace. You have to do that and take the time, because our work is tireless. It's needed. We're helping people, but it takes a toll on us.
Yeah.
When I was recently in Albany, I was supposed to take a car. It's a 3-hour drive to the city and go on CNN that night. And then the next day do another interview with a magazine. My body said, "You're not going. It's too much." After I did everything at the Capitol, I was mentally exhausted. I didn't have anything left. I wanted to get on a plane and come home to my babies.
Yeah.
And we have to listen to ourselves when that happens, instead of pushing, saying, "I got to do this. I got to go be a..." No, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
And so I made the decision to come home, and I got in my bed, and that was my mental health break for me.
Right.
Yes. We have to do what's best for us.
What was it like after going through all of this, trying to have children or becoming a mother?
Becoming a mother changed everything, especially work-wise for me. But it's one thing to be alone in this world with a lot of manipulators and people of power, and then it's another thing to look down and see your children, and you just become more of a protector. And you want to literally save every child from what happened to us, because, they are the next generation. My children mean the world to me, but so do other children as well, because they are the next people that are coming up into this world. And I just feel like it's so important to protect them, because they're all we've got.
Yes. Yeah. So I have 4 children. I have triplets, and I have a 16-year-old. The 16-year-old, I've been raising her since she was 2 years old. So she's not my bio. And me and my husband got married in 2000, and I have to get this date right because I get it wrong. 14. Is that correct? Yes, 14. Okay, 14. I said it wrong the other day, and he was like, "No, that's wrong." So usually it's the guys that get it wrong, but no. So 2014, we got married, and we tried for a couple years to get pregnant. Well, we couldn't get pregnant. So we went to the fertility clinic and did IVF. And I just wanted to do IVF one time. I felt like, for me, I was like, if it doesn't work, we'll just adopt. There's lots of kids that need adoption, and we'll give them a great family. And I just wanted a baby. I was like, just trying to have a baby. That's it. So we do the IVF, and we ended up having triplets. But going through that process, I was a little bit traumatized again, and I'm going to tell you why. So I was trafficked to a billionaire, but Jeffrey trafficked me to a pharmaceutical billionaire. And when I go into the fertility clinic, and they're saying, "You got to take all these medicines and everything," the medicines has his name on it, because he's the only one in the world that makes these type of medicines. So his pharmaceutical company's name is on it. And I remember him telling me, this was, of course, 20 years ago, about what he did and all this stuff, and that he makes this medicine, and he's got so many women pregnant through the fertility, blah, blah, blah. But to see it happen right in front of my eyes, and I'm like, there are injections that you put with IVF, and my husband's injecting me with a medication. I'm like, this is a person that I was trafficked to.
Right.
And so I have 3 beautiful, healthy, smart, wonderful children, and I'm so blessed with them. But this is why the trauma is so deep, and it also shows you how connected Jeffrey was.
Right.
In every institution, in every aspect. there's a connection there.
Right.
And that's why it's really has been difficult just to completely move on. And at the time, I didn't tell my husband about the medication or anything. I told him later on. He was like, "Why didn't you tell me?" And I said, I didn't want it to make it a thing because I didn't want to be stressed while we're trying to get pregnant.
Right.
You know, you're trying to relax and
Yeah.
everything's okay while you're going through this process.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to me about, how did this finally end for you? I know it never ends. And how did you escape from this nightmare?
Sharlene, you want to go first?
Well, I'm honestly not too sure what you mean by escape the nightmare. Do you mean by escape Jeffrey, or do you mean by escape? Like, what do you mean by that?
Yeah. How did you escape Jeffrey or whomever you were trafficked to?
I don't feel like I ever escaped, to be honest. I feel like I went from one bad relationship into another. That's what happened to me. And so until, like we were just talking about our children, until it took me to have children to see what they were witnessing in forms of abuse. I just couldn't have what happened to me happen to them. And so I've gone through hell and back, to be honest, and I'm still dealing with the aftermath. That's why I ask for escape, because it's really hard.
Yeah. So it's still affecting all of your personal relationships.
Yeah. Like, I don't necessarily want to get into any kind of relationship ever again. That's like literally how I feel. As nice as it might be, my trust is not there. I don't have any trust. And I feel like my responsibility is for my children, and that I need to just raise them right, make sure that they're okay, make sure that they know how to stand up for themselves. They know what red flags are, manipulation techniques are. Unfortunately, my children have seen things that have not been great. And so I make sure that they're protected from all of those things.
So I escaped in 2003, but very similar to Sharlene, I've repeated, and I think this is very common with people that are abused, I've repeated kind of getting into relationships that were not the healthiest.
Right.
And one in particular, in 2007, I was in a very abusive relationship. I knew it was wrong, but I wanted to help him and to change him. And it took me about 2 years to get out. But with Jeffrey, in 2003, I moved to California.
Mhm.
And so I felt like I'm moving 3,000 miles away.
Right.
So he doesn't go to California too often. He won't find me.
Right.
And that was my plan. But even with that plan, I'm looking over my shoulder. You don't ever feel safe. You don't ever feel, especially with all his connections. And this is before, Facebook, Instagram, all the things. So they tried to contact me, but then eventually it fell off and I didn't hear from them too often. But I did have one scary time when I was working with a client, an NBA player, and I help athletes, set up their nonprofit and do their charity events. And so very well-known athlete, and he called me, and I was in New York at the time because we were planning the event in New York. He said, I just got a phone call. So this is 2007. So because 2003, I escaped.
Yeah.
He said, I just got a phone call, and it just didn't make any sense to me. But he said that there's a sexual video of you. So my heart dropped.
Yeah.
And this is the power he still has over me, like the control, the manipulation. And of course, to the person, I said, I don't know what you're talking about. I've not seen any video. If somebody recorded me, I don't have knowledge of it. There was no permission. So I'm telling him all these things. And he said, yeah. And the person basically told me that I don't need to be working with you because of this video. And he said, but you know what? I know you're great. And we're going to continue working together. But that's the kind of manipulation that he, even after all those years. And that was scary. And even though we continue to work together, I'm sure Jeffrey got a kick out of that, knowing that, hey, I have contacts. Even with these athletes, I can pick up the phone and call them. And yeah, that was really tough. And so with that happening, I lived in fear of like, when is he going to do this again?
Right.
You know, who else is he going to call?
Right. Right.
And now this is my business. I'm running a business here.
Right.
And you were trying to damage that. But I still felt helpless. Like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening. If you like the show, please rate and review on iTunes and check out our website, thepowerwomen.org.